So I've said this before, but I think it's worth sort of repeating and really reinforcing this idea that to all my American viewers out there, don't worry, right? Do not worry about Donald Trump's next 4 years. I think there is a lot of comparison between what happened with our Conservative Party after they got Brexit done. And for those of you who know, it's a long, story. However, I'll give you the quick Cliff Notes version as to what happened and why this is probably going to happen to Donald Trump as well. After the 2016 vote, the hard right of the party had finally been given the power they'd long been craving, just like the MAGA lunatics fringe in the Republican Party. And eventually, what they did was under Theresa May, they forced through their ideas. They got this hard Brexit that they really wanted at the time, even though they'll now claim that's not the Brexit that they wanted. There you go. Like I say, these guys aren't the most consistent sometimes in what they are asking for, but there you go. And of course, they then decided that this is what they really wanted to keep. This is what they really wanted to do on this. This was their whole idea, their whole big sort of, focus on that this was their big play, that this was what they were going to do. And of course, what happened when they finally really got power in 2019 under Boris Johnson? Yeah, they, quote, got Brexit done. But even now, many of those people complain about the fact the Brexit that they ended up with. You've just had a classic example of this very recently, of someone complaining about Starmer now charging VAT on private schools, saying, oh, if we were in the EU, this wouldn't be happening. And you're like, well, hold on a second. This person was like a full-on Brexiteer. Like, what happened to all that sovereignty you wanted? And bear in mind, you are already seeing the chaos. You've seen the whole H-1B visa debacle. And you saw how quickly Trump folded and went with, sided with Elon Musk and, the billionaire tech bros. Probably a wake-up call to MAGA that Donald Trump, as we've been saying for the longest time, never cared about you. Bear in mind, that has at least woken up some people to Donald Trump finally, although it took them a while. But there are still many who still believe Donald Trump's going to be like their guy in office. Well, sad news for you, he's not. However, today we're going to go over something a bit different, because there was a historian by the name of, I believe it's Timothy Snyder, that's it. And he is a historian at Yale. And this is what he said. He says, like, the relationship with Elon and Musk has sort of become, and it really has become, one mostly about money. Because if you've been paying attention behind the scenes of what a lot of Republicans have been saying, but also a lot of conservatives here in the UK have been saying, the Conservative Party is in a lot worse a financial state than they are willing to admit. And guess what? It's the same for the Republicans. A lot of the big Republican donors, Trump scared them off. Trump has massively scared them off. So he now has to rely on Elon Musk. And because now the Republican Party is having to rely a lot on Elon Musk, oh boy, does he have a lot of power over that party. Again, we saw Congress or the government nearly shut down just last month. And of course, you've seen the whole H-1B visa one. Of course he's going to keep that, because he loves that stuff. He's been using those for his companies for years. And there's a video going around of like Trump's stance on the visa, of like from like 2016 to like 2020 to now. And he's gone from absolutely hating them, we're going to sort of get rid of them, to now going, oh no, yeah, we're going to keep them. So this is what Snyder had to say in an interview about the Trump-Musk relationship. And it is all about money. He said, Trump is a little guy and Musk is the big guy where it actually comes to having money. And I think if you were a friend of Trump, you would be worried. We overestimate Trump and we underestimate Musk. People can't help but think that Trump has money. but he doesn't. And he never really had money. He never even really claimed to have money. The whole notion is that you have to believe that he has money, but he has never been able to pay back his own debts. He's never even been able to finance his own campaigns. Musk now, with an amount of money, is what is now meaningless to him, is will now be able to finance Trump's campaign endlessly. All the threats that Trump is now going to issue, I'm going to primary people, I'm going to sue people. Musk is going to pay for that, not Trump. And when Trump needs money for anything, he's going to be asking Musk. And unless Trump breaks this off right now, he's going to be in his kind of dependent relationship for the rest of the way. Because if you get used to people giving you money, and I think that if you were a friend of Trump, you will now be very, very worried. So that's what it's all about. And as we said, it gives Elon Musk huge power over Donald Trump because Musk has endless amounts of money to throw away, mostly because, again, of his overvaluated Tesla stock and all the the welfare money he pretty much gets from the US government. Do you think that's going to end? Oh no, I think you're going to see Musk get even more of that money. I think suddenly the tap that he has is going to sort of be opened even more to the amount of money that he gets. And you're going to see that flow into things like SpaceX, which again is not going to do anything. Like I say, everything that SpaceX has done, NASA has either already done or has been done before. If you're going to fund something, why not just fund NASA instead of SpaceX? Because NASA can do a heck of a lot more with that money than SpaceX can. But of course, Elon's not going to like that. Elon's not going to like that at all. So he will finance Trump. He will finance Trump to the absolute hilt. And the big problem you will now see is I think you're going to see people get sued. He's already talking about suing the pollster, the Seltzer poll, Ann Seltzer. She came out with that poll like a couple of days before the election. Trump's talked about suing her. There's a number of other people he's talked about going after. The guy Kash Patel, if he becomes like leader of the FBI, that is worrying because he has openly admitted, yeah, I've got an enemies list who I'm going to go after. Some of these confirmation hearings are going to be wild, absolutely wild. But we'll see what happens today. Like I say, Congress gets back in today. We'll see if they actually re-elect Mike Johnson as Speaker. But if he doesn't, and things kick off today, it's going to get glorious. If not, it's probably because they don't want to look foolish. But however, don't think that it's how we say everyone's already singing sort of kumbaya around the campfire if there is no chaos today. Just like we've seen in the Conservative Party, while everyone's sort of singing around the campfire kumbaya, meanwhile, if you look for the glints behind everyone's backs, and you'll see them sharpening them knives for the fights to come. And oh boy, there are going to be some fights. There are going to be some absolute fights over policy, direction of stuff that the government wants to do. It's going to get brutal. You've already seen sort of the opening skirmish, and Trump, bear in mind, isn't even in yet. That is a sign of things to come. But that, though, shows how paralyzed probably the Trump presidency is going to be. So the likelihood is, just as we saw with our own sort of Conservative Party here, even though they had, again, a very big majority that they could have pretty much done anything they wanted, they couldn't because they were just so paralyzed through infighting each other. And I think that's what's going to happen now as well. So, as always, let me know what you think down below. And of course, as always, we'll be keeping an eye on what happens today if that vote does go right, or maybe it goes a bit south. Who knows? We'll see. But keep your eyes today on the US later on today, see if that vote does go through, because things could get quite interesting if it doesn't. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.